So we're slightly ahead of set schedule, which is great. So what I'll do is I'll just introduce the workshop, make sure you're in the place that you intend to be, and then we'll get going. It's quite a busy workshop, so it'll involve some cameo presentations first of all, and then the latter part of the workshop, you'll be heading to breakout rooms, which will involve you stepping away from the room, clicking on another link and entering another room. Much like conferences in a hotel, you may find yourself in the wrong room. If you do, as long as you have a good time, that's the most. But I'll explain that as we go. So this is workshop number 5. So from the information, this workshop is about really lessons we've learned in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. And it's about exploring best practice and also highlighting some innovation. You can't go through such a pandemic like we have, and yes, it's been challenging us all, but there's also been incredible positives through it as well, and we've seen some really responsive practices that has been already highlighted this morning. So we have 5 cameos from a range of youth work organisations from across Wales, both in the statutory and the voluntary sector, and it's today. What I'll do in a moment is I'll introduce the presenters. Cameo. There will not be any sort of space for conversation, for questions following each cameo, but please put anything you want in the chat. Then following those cameos, we can have a bit of a brief discussion, any kind of burning questions that anybody might have, or any linking up that people might want to do. And then we'll be moving into breakout rooms. We do have a Merrimeter polling option if we want to use it. So Rich, is it all right if I hand over to you just for 2 minutes just to explain that and how that works?
Yeah, no worries, will do, Dave. So I've just popped a link into the chat. People will be able to go to that there, and there's a couple of questions for us to answer. It's just about kind of taking a straw poll really from your experiences over the last 18 months, seeing what you've missed and what the challenges have been, but also making sure that kind of we can come together in the breakout rooms later and think about what we've learned during this time and what we want to keep and move forward on. So if you can click on that link that's in the chat, people will be able to go to that Menti, and then we can collect those later, and we'll share those just after everyone's done their presentations. I think it'll be best, Dave.
Stuff. Thank you, Rich. And during the breakout rooms as well, I will be asking for volunteers because we made a decision to maximize the discussion time. When we get into the rooms, we won't be coming back into this main room to feedback the feedback. We would love an individual to volunteer to capture that. I will then kind of coordinate that information and then get that back out to everybody so we can see what's been discussed throughout the workshop. So that's the plan for this session. Like I say, it's great to have you with us. In terms of running order for the 5 cameos, we haven't kind of nailed that down. So would anybody like to volunteer to go first? This is when silence. Go on then, Rachel. Fantastic. So Rachel, I'll hand over to you if you'd like to introduce yourself and your cameo, and then over to you.
Well, thank you very much. So I'm Rachel Simmonds, and I work for Conwy Youth Service, local authority youth service in North Wales. So today we're going to just share with you a little bit about what our service has done during the pandemic and some of the unique or innovative, creative ways that our staff have maintained youth work through such a challenging time. Because I'm also not keen on presenting, I've been fortunate to rope in the team to do a nice video and really gain information about the youth staff on the ground and what their thoughts are of how we have achieved this over the period. So I'll just hopefully get this back up. Okie dokie. Hopefully everybody can see that now. All right. Here you go.
Sorry, Rachel, just a quick, it's a tiny technical note, but to maximize your viewing options, if you click the sort of interrupted broken square in the corner of the right hand corner of the presenting screen, that'll give you a full screen, so you'll get the full experience. I was speaking to people watching.
All right. I was going to say that really well technically.
Why are you talking?
Right, no problems. Hopefully you've managed to do that, and I'll hopefully get the sound across. Here we go.
Yn dilyn cyfllawn y Llywodraeth, yn anffodus, nath ni'n cael cael lawr ein clybiau ieuenctid, ond nath hyn ddim stopio'r gwaith ieuenctid yma'n Sir Conwy, ac ymlaen fel tîm i drafod y ffyrdd gorau o gadw mewn cysylltiad efo pobl ifanc a'i teuluoedd a y ffyrdd gorau o cefnogi nhw dros y cyfnod clo. Y ffordd orau aethon ni'n ati i gadw mewn cysylltiad efo pobl ifanc a y tîm yn teimlo am oedd yn ei sgwrsio am hyn oedd ymwybydau Steffan Drws. Felly, hefo hyn, oedd yn mynd allan mewn carau a mynd i Steffan Drws o bobl ifanc a cael sgwrs efo'r person ifanc a'i teuluoedd. A wnaeth hyn helpu ni i ddod i ddallt be oedd anghenion pobl ifanc yn well mewn ffordd.
So, o hynny i gyd, beth ydych chi'n dweud i'r prif method ni'n dysgu fo gwasanaeth?
Dwi'n meddwl bod gwasanaeth, dwi'n meddwl bod yn adran o fewn gwasanaeth Catrin Conwy wedi cael bydd o wneud yr ymwybydau Steffan Drws yma lle. Mae wedi golygu bod ni'n cydweithio well efo canolfannau teulu, bod ni'n cydweithio efo dyrannau eraill, a hefyd bod ni'n cydweithio efo ysgolion hefyd yn well er mwyn cynnig y cymod sydd wedi angen ar gyfer pobl ifanc. A dwi'n meddwl hefyd, dyn ni'n dysgu bod yn ofnadwy o bwysig bod pobl ifanc yn cael y cyfle i gysylltu ac athrebu efo staff proffesiynol. Mae hynny'n rhywbeth bwysig sydd wedi darllen aml bod ddim yn rhywun yn ddigon, bod ddim yn ffrind, ond bod actually staff sydd wedi cael ei hyfforddi yn o'n proffesiynol i ni wedi gweld nhw. Ac yn ola, dwi'n meddwl bod ni'n adnabod anghenion teuluoedd well er mwyn yn lle bod yn ystod yn berson ifanc bod fewn i'r community, da ni wedi cael y stori i gyd mewn ffordd sy'n llun i gyflawn hefyd. So dwi'n meddwl bod ni wedi dysgu llawer o dwi'n gobeithio fy hynny, bod ni'n dal yn dysgu fod gael ei ymlaen efo agweddau gwahanol o beth sydd wedi bod yn ymlaen yn ystod yr pandemig.
Ie, ges i sgwrs efo'r tîm cymunedol dwi'n dod i fan heddiw, a i gael farn nhw o be o'n meddwl o fy'r buddion, ac yn nhw'n dweud bod o'n gyfle da i nhw'n allu hysbysebu be oedd gen nhw ar fynd, enghraifft be oedd gen ni ar social media, neu i blogau sydd ar-lein, oedd nhw hefyd yn teimlo bod o'n ffordd dda i weld oedd yn ffrindiau yn gweld beth o'n digwydd, a wedyn gweld be oedd yr angen i'r person ifanc yna a'r teulu. Nath gweithio'r ieuenctid cymunedol oedd esiampl da o person ifanc angen fwy o gefnogaeth, a felly aeth i ati wedyn i gysylltu'r ysgol a aeth yr person ifanc yna wedyn am i'r ysgol dwywaith yr wythnos. A wnaeth hwnna gyd ddod o'r gwaith o mynd at y Steffan Drws yn cael trafod hynna efo y person ifanc a'r rhiant ar y pryd. Dwi hefyd cael sgwrs efo yr prosiect cynnydd sydd yn cyfnogi pobl ifanc sydd ddim mewn addysg neu hyfforddiant neu gwaith. A oedd nhw'n gweld byd o'r ddull yma, ac oedd nhw'n teimlo bod o'n ffordd dda ac oedd pobl ifanc yn engage. A hefyd bod nhw'n cael o'n ffrindiansol cymorth gan gweithwyr proffesiynol, achos oedd hi'n adeg mor ansicr i bobl ifanc. A roedd cael y sgwrs yna efo'r prosiect cynnydd yn help mawr i nhw i allu trafod i pryderon am eu dyfodol yn sgil gwaith neu yn coleg a falle. Felly, ia, oedd pawb i fod yn byd o fan yr ddull yma.
Dwi'n meddwl sef allan y byd yn cael o bwysig i'r cyswllt Gwynedd Gwynedna i iechyd meddwl a emosiynol pobl ifanc, fel un person ifanc yn cyfieithu efo, ond dioddau ddim yn rhoi iechyd meddwl o sy'n misionol yn yma. Nath ni ddechrau drwy siarad o'r ffôn, ond nath o ddechrau gwella, a ni weld gwella yn dyna fo, ond ni'n gallu mynd yn efo wrthnos. A ni oedd yr unig bod cyswllt cyson o'n gael, ond nath i'n ymlaen at o wrthnos o'n i'n troi fyny at Steffan Drws. So o hynna i gyd, beth yn ni'n gael ymlaen, o beth yn dechrau.
Pobl yn ymateb yn ymateb gwahanol i'r pandemig a bod yn ymateb gwahanol wedyn ar ôl allan ac i annog nhw i ddod allan i'r clwb ieuenctid a gymdeithasu. Ond mae eisiau gwneud mewn ffyrdd gwahanol i bawb achos dydy pawb yn gallu dod syth mewn fewnol. Dwi'n meddwl bod yn bwysig bod yn cynnu'r ymweliadau Steffan Drws yma fewn hefo outreach a hefyd efo clwb ieuenctid yn cynnig gwasanaeth sydd yn targedu bobl un o'n hynny. Dwi hefyd yn meddwl bod yn bwysig bod wedi mae'r fframwaith yn gysylltu a datblygu ieuenctid esiampl dda hyn, achos da ni wedi bod yn cefnogi i'n cydweithio efo nhw yn creu pamffled i'r bobl ifanc sydd yn ddigartre neu mewn herydd i fod yn gartre. Mae hwnnw wedi cael ei wneud ar y cyd efo y prosiect ddamwen Maman Gwasanaeth Ieuenctid Cymru a hefyd efo trwysiadau tai Conwy ag cymdeithasau plant yn y gogledd a bod nhw'n cael eto o wybodaeth a gefnogaeth proffesiynol pwysig yna sy'n hanfodol yn ôl yma.
Dwi'n sgwrs iawn o gola effaith pandemig yn wedi bod ar blwyddyn yn lot amser i ddod. A dwi'n mynd i weld os ydych chi'n drws yn bod ar y mwynhau rhagor fi ac efallai bod yn gweithio'n barod i fod i sesiwn yma yw'r eto so mae'n bod i datblygu hyder yn fod datblygu'r perthynas sy'n gweithio yn
Yeah, so from our service perspective, for me especially, I'm extremely proud of our team. It's been a tough 18 months and they've all continued to really push the boundaries to make sure that youth work is still accessible for young people in the community. During the time of the doorstep visits, they were still maintaining the community phone lines as well, arranging prescriptions and food parcels for the most vulnerable. And we're not a large team, but it felt like they were a large team because they were doing so much work. And as you can see in the end of the video, I think that might have been helped by the speed that they walk. They're very productive at getting from door to door. So that's it from me. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you very much. I think throughout we're going to see really innovative responses to reaching out to young people. And I love what you guys said right at the start, but it was about just listening and hearing their needs and connecting relationally, that's one of the unique selling points of youth work, really. You know, the young people drive what we do, and that's really great. Thank you very much for opening us. Fantastic. Right, do we have a volunteer for our next cameo? Dayle, over to you. People on the screen, so if anybody else put their hand up then, I'm afraid I wouldn't have seen it. So there we go. Dayle, over to you.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I would say nice to see you all, but I genuinely can't see anyone. Like Dave just like see 4 people. So hopefully we can connect over the chat and in the networking sessions later. I work for Cardiff Youth Service and I'm a senior youth officer responsible for the digital youth work team. And like all kind of youth services, we've tried to work innovatively with young people throughout this period. But I'm just going to share one project with you today, which is our Young Creators project. So firstly, it was set up as a website development group, which co-produced our service website so people could know about our services, what was on offer, what times were we open. But then young people told us actually they wanted to play a role in actually producing the content on our social media channels, on our websites, which later produced into a young creators group. So they were coming together weekly online, and they were firstly developing some digital skills to be able to produce content in a space they spend a lot of time online, and they've all connected with each other, and the group is still running strongly. You'll be glad to know I'm not going to talk at you for 5 minutes. I'm also going to show a video. So I'm just going to show you some of the amazing things they've done over the past 18 months. So hope you all enjoy.
So the building of the website really was something I wanted to get involved in from the outset. It was mentioned to me by one of the youth workers at Cardiff Youth Service, and immediately I thought it was my kind of thing. And at the same time, it was also something that I needed to do really, because I'd like to, forge some sort of career in the media anyway, whether that be web developing, whether that be some sort of journalism. I had to learn a lot of multimedia skills and really the things that go in behind the scenes as much as the work that you would see that's perhaps more in the public eye. So this really helped with that, so I was eager to get involved.
That would be me. So, First Minister, how have you coped through lockdown and what have you missed the most?
Are there any extra services to help people with mental health?
What things do you think will change forever since coronavirus? And is there anything that has changed for the better?
I think you're...
Sav, you're on mute. Yep, there we go. There we go.
What support would you give to young people that are isolating?
Oh, thank you very much. That's a really important question.
Yes, I do understand. Yes, home learning is very difficult. I really do understand. Okay, got that.
2,000 years later.
Yes, please make sure you contact me, being the head teacher, and I will help you in any further issues. Yeah, definitely. Yes, I do understand. Yes, home learning is very difficult, I really do understand, but we just have to make our way through it and wish the best. Okay, bye.
What life lesson did you learn the hard way?
So I think my answer to that one is it's learning that life is a marathon, not a sprint. So, you know, when you leave school, you have these ideals about what you want to do in life, and you kind of get quite a few setbacks when you don't feel you're where you should be. So I've learned over the time that I've been working since I left my education that it's a marathon, not a sprint, that you'll get setbacks, but to learn from those setbacks, and also that don't let it deter you from what you want to do either.
In Summer Smiles, I enjoy doing volunteering because it gives me a good time to socialise and meet new people.
In the Summer of Smiles event, I enjoyed learning new skills such as camera work, sound work, and anything related to media.
I got to use the microphone and the camera, and the big one and the small ones to take pictures.
So yeah, that's our young creators group and what they've been up to over the past 18 months. So as you can tell, they've met with some quite influential people in quite an informal kind of setting. They've been able to share their views on their lives and concerns they're having as young people. They've also been able to become reporters on the Summer of Smiles Festival happening in Cardiff. And what young people have told us, they want to continue to go to events like that in Cardiff and be at the forefront of things going on in the city. So that's the plan we're working on at the moment. So as well, what's next? We're looking to develop more creative projects to allow young people to develop multimedia skills and digital skills. So we've gone out to our youth centres and we'll continue doing that throughout the course of the next year and further than that as well. We're also trying to increase membership of the group, but the group is actually meeting in person now, so you've still got the COVID restrictions. Hopefully get bigger groups in building soon. We're also going to be working with RCT YEPS to develop their young editors group as well, which is quite similar to our young creators. So happy to answer any questions anyone's got about the group. Yeah, hope you enjoyed.
That's great, thank you, Dayle. A great video, lovely to see as well. Especially love the acting up as teachers. That's brilliant, wasn't it?
Class.
Do you know what? One of the risk factors for me working from home is my bedroom's literally there, and I love a nap. So that's, you know, if I'm not answering the phone, It's not because I'm busy, it's because I'm having a nap. Fab, brilliant. Okay, over to our next presenter. Do we have a volunteer for our next cameo?
I think they're going to need to activate their video settings, Dave. I think that's why we're not seeing them.
There you go. Oh, Grant.
There we go. There he is.
There he was, and there he's gone. Grant, fantastic. Lovely to have you with us, Grant. Are you happy to happy to go next?
Hi, you can hear me all right, David? Yeah.
We can indeed.
Brilliant. That's great. All this new technology. Brilliant. Yes, so my name is Grant Poyner. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Boys and Girls Clubs of Wales. We're a national voluntary youth work organisation, and we rely a lot on some amazing volunteers within our clubs. In fact, I was delighted to go out to a club in Ystrad Mynach last night and meet one of our volunteers who only just come out of hospital from COVID, but he is now back in the club. You know, he is so committed to it. We wanted to talk about what we had done during the pandemic, and a few of the things that we kind of made changes because of this kind of the world we were living in. But I want people to kind of go back in their minds first to think what it was like in March 2020. It was a little bit of a period where we didn't know what was happening. You know, we were kind of living in this area of a bit of fear. We didn't know what the coronavirus was going to bring. And it was a real confusing time for our volunteers, because a lot of the volunteers within our network of clubs are elderly, they're retired, and there was this, they didn't know what they could do. They didn't, obviously they didn't want to kind of catch something that potentially at that time could have been fatal for them. So a lot of what we did and a lot of what the youth service did, and I know some incredible work that went on with, youth workers supporting a lot of the kind of key services there. But a lot of our kind of clubs did close, as all youth clubs did close. But what the positives of the pandemic brought in a kind of bizarre way was it developed the digital literacy of all our elderly volunteers, or all our volunteers in general. So, including ourselves. Now, I've never been on Hopin until today, but, I'd probably, until the pandemic had started, I'd never been on Google Hangouts, or I'd never used Teams for the way that, the way that we ended up using it. So what the pandemic did, it enabled our volunteers to become more digital literate. And they needed to, even to see their grandchildren or their friends or their children. So people were using different kind of technologies in order to video call. So these positives enabled us as an organization to look at how we can change. Now we've got this improved skill set amongst our volunteers. So one of the things that we did, we developed an e-learning module. So when we work with our volunteers, we normally go out to the clubs and talk to them about what volunteering in a boys and girls club or in a youth work setting is all about, what they need to do, how they understand safeguarding and the various commitments to the role. But we were able to produce e-learning modules via the Teachable platform, which is quite easy to kind of navigate and to even put content on. So all our delivery that we did, in regards to kind of training volunteers now, we still go out to our clubs, but we've got this opportunity now for people to pick up and to use the e-learning module themselves. It was also an opportunity for us to reflect on what we were doing. And one of the other things, as a staff team, we were able to revise our club handbook so that all our clubs were able to understand, and know exactly what they can be doing, what they should be doing. And obviously there was the COVID guidance that we produced for our clubs, which was linked in well with the Welsh Government guidance, but in a form that they could understand and was more appropriate to their needs. So the legacy of these now, they're still continuing. Our e-learning module, every time someone wants to volunteer with one of our clubs, the process now is first to do the e-learning module. And we do want to get people on doing perhaps a level 2 stepping stone to youth work that Quivis organise, and also the level 2s and level 3s through Adult Learning Wales. But it was this kind of this entry level was so important with our volunteers. And yeah, I don't, if it wasn't for the pandemic, I don't think we'd have ever done an e-learning module for our volunteers. So So I'm going to keep it there, David, because I've been told I've got 4 minutes and I've just gone over that 4 minutes. But yeah, that's the legacy from us from the pandemic.
That's great. Thanks, Grant. That, you know, that's just really innovative and creative, and that training opportunity is so much more inclusive done that way, isn't it? And that's brilliant to hear. And thank you for sharing that. That's great. Thank you. Okay. The next volunteer, please, or should I say victim, is entirely up to you. Who would like to go next? There we go, Kay.
I'm going to try and work out how to share the screen now.
That's all right, Kay, no problem.
Is it that one? Uh-oh. I'm failing here. I don't quite know how to do this.
So there is a little icon with, looks like a computer screen with a red line through it at the bottom of the screen. That should be the share screen.
I just can't find my presentation on here.
No probs. Well, while you're looking for it, I'll just what I'll do, folks, as well, is I'll post some questions in the chat, and these are the questions that we'll look at when we're in the breakout room next. But I'll put those in the chat now so they're there, so you can get sight of them. So, but Kay, we're ready to go when you are.
I can't seem to share the screen at all, to be honest with you. I don't quite know. I'm having quite a bit of trouble with my computer this morning as it is. I'll do that without the photographs then. We obviously we're in Cardiff East Scouts. And during the sort of conclusion of the first lockdown, we got to the position where we were able to return to face-to-face scouting. But unfortunately, for a lot of our venues, we didn't have the opportunity to actually go back into our halls. So we've got 12 groups in the district, 4 explorer units and a network unit, and at least 6 of those couldn't even enter their hall to gain any of their equipment. So it became very sort of apparent that we needed to do something at a district level to be able to allow our young people and our volunteers to get back outside and to meet. We knew that families were absolutely desperate to get their young people doing things outside again. So after a couple of hurried phone calls, we quickly came up with the idea of equipping our district van, which I have a beautiful photograph of, which you can all imagine, with everything you could possibly imagine that would be in a scout hall, from a portaloo and tent, stove to be able to make hot drinks, because obviously we were into the autumn at this point, lighting, from pens to sellotape to absolutely everything anyone could need. And we set up a mobile scout hall. Mainly in one of our groups was the primary area, because they had a lot of difficulty accessing, but it also went out and about of evenings to different areas. But our group in Llanedin used it every Saturday for 3 meetings a Saturday for a good term. And I think it really allowed the adults to be able to get those young people out again in a safe space, to be able to do the things they like. They did archery, they did firelight, and all the things that they would normally do, they were able to just do, even though they were looking at a locked door with all their equipment behind it. And I think we've kind of learned that really we can sort of take our scouting to wherever it needs to go. So we've kind of been able to sort of support our programme with lots of our other groups coming back, where we've been able to share skills with the group and share equipment in a much easier way by having the van fully stocked and ready to go at a moment's notice. So that's kind of been our lesson. We supplemented through the lockdown with a lot of Zoom sessions, and I think that brought people together as well, because we were sort of scouting in the same place but from our homes across the whole of the district. So I think as we came back together, we were able to sort of use the van to get the practical stuff out there, but use one another's skills to be able to support that. I will see if I can try and get the photograph up. I feel a bit embarrassed that I failed with that, sorry. But it just oh, there you are. I might actually have got it. Is that shared now? So yeah. I can't see it. Can you see that? Because I can't see anything. It's black here.
Yeah, no, it came and it went.
Ah, disappeared.
There it is.
Back again.
Yeah, there you are. Fantastic. Yeah, so that's our van really, and all of the young people sort of enjoying the van. I just move those through a bit. Sorry. Get back to the van. So that's the van that's full of all of the kit. And all of the young people that were enjoying that, and these are some of the things that we were able to do. We were able to do the archery, firelighting, bits and pieces out and about, and and they just basically, our volunteers rose to every challenge, and they cracked on and they delivered what we wanted them to. So yeah, we're very proud of what we were able to achieve.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Kay. I just think the word sort of mobile provision multiple layers there, doesn't it? It's not just the physical mobility of what you do, but the mobility of your staff to respond in a really creative way. That's wonderful.
And I think the camp toilet has been put away now again, which is a blessing for all of us. So we're glad to see the back of that one. Trying to hold that down in a car park in a gale in November was a memorable experience. But there we go. Thank you.
Have you got any films of that, or is that something that didn't cross your mind?
No. To be fair, we haven't. I think we left that as a small child hanging onto the tent because it nearly disappeared. The best bit of this was that the vicar for the hall said to this young lady, "Oh, I bet it's fun having a camp toilet." And he went, "No, it's not. They just won't let us inside to use the loo." So that was quite interesting. She kind of put the cat and the pigeons there, but they did get back into the hall quickly after that comment. So that was good. Okay.
That's brilliant. Thank you. Thank you, Kay. That's wonderful. Okay, so
mute, Dave.
I'm on mute. Do you know what? Sorry. Margaret and Lewis, at least I hope you're with be presenting through Welsh, the Welsh language. So as you're all well versed in now, you need to open up a tab separately, open up the translation in order to be able to hear. So Margaret and Lewis, are you here? Hello.
Hello there. How are we?
Hello, fantastic. Brilliant. We're here. I'll hand over to you guys, and welcome. It's lovely to have you with us.
Brilliant. Just to start off with, how do I share my screen? I've never used this website before, so I'm not too sure what's going on.
So at the bottom of your you can see you should have a computer screen with a red line through it.
Yes, I can see that. Yeah, for some reason it doesn't pop up when you're in full screen.
No, you're right. It doesn't.
Great. Yeah, that's amazing then. So Margaret's going to start off, but we're here with Urdd Gobaith Cymru.
Hello, Bob.
Yeah, hi everybody. We're going to talk a little bit about what we as youth and community departments have been doing. So we're not going to talk about the sports stuff. I think we responded quite well to the restrictions, and we really planned and got going straight away to do online sessions, our club sessions online. So I'll go through some of the ones that we did during that first winter. We did a music club, a club where Lewis and me ran it every 2 weeks, where we would get maybe 6 children to come together, and we asked them what music they liked listening to, and then we would play a clip and we'd all listen to it and have a discussion, a bit like a book club, and that was brilliant. We did Awr Fwy, big hour, a bit similar, but we did a variety of sessions. So we did art stuff, cookery, whatever. We did everyday Welsh lessons for Welsh learners, just to raise their confidence, because we felt with the lockdown, that it would have affected that they wouldn't have had a chance to practice their Welsh. One of the most exciting things, I think, was a sgwrs, the conversation, a session for 16 to 25-year-olds where we discussed important subjects for them. Subjects like sex, health, mental health, sessions with Stonewall, Extinction Rebellion, homelessness, and important subjects like that. So we had really good response to those. So they happened on Zoom. What else, Lewis? I think one of the very interesting things, obviously with the Urdd, we were an organisation that works across the whole of Wales, but we could put people in touch across Wales, rather than just locally. We started a partnership with an organisation called TG Lurgan. They're based in Ireland, and they do everything through the medium of Gaelic. So we made that connection with that organisation, and we did 2 joint productions, a music video in Welsh and in Gaelic, with the young people who were aged 16 plus, and we did 2 videos. We'll show you one in a little while now, with the young people starring in that, and both have had over 100,000 likes and views on different platforms. So it gave young people the opportunity to learn about a different culture, but also get in touch with each other across the whole of Wales, whether in Anglesey or Cardiff. I think that was truly amazing. So Margaret, we did some more specialist sessions then, didn't we? On music industry sessions. Yes, music industry sessions. And these...
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, guys. Just to let you know that we appear to be having problems with the translation service.
Okay.
But please carry on as usual. And for everyone else, what we'll do is I'll speak to the help desk guys to make sure that the recording comes out our way with the translations attached. But please carry on as you were prepared. Interruption.
But we might be talking too fast for the translator.
Please carry on.
Okay, diolch.
Okay, thank you. Yes, industry sessions where we'd partnered up with Maes B and Clwb Ifor Bach to put on workshops on things like filmographics, composing, production and post-production and design. So these were quite specialist areas just to learn the skills. This was for older Urdd members, and this worked really well over Zoom. We could do screen share and show the really nitty-gritty bits of which button to press when you edit and so forth. So that worked really well. Could I?
Yeah, go on, Margaret.
Go on, Margaret. You go. I was just going to say I'll show the two videos now so that they can have a better idea.
2 videos of different projects that we did, so you'll get like a better idea of what we did. So.
For some reason, I can't do that.
Your YouTube. Link YouTube, neu beth.
You got a YouTube link there? Yeah. Do you know what? I think I can see it. Yeah, I went on screen share and then there's a YouTube video. Otherwise, the computer audio won't work. So say that again. You had to go through YouTube. Yeah, you know when you click share screen, you can click YouTube video as well instead of share screen. Okay, yeah. No, it's not letting me do that at all now. Video settings. Margaret, can you get it up there? I'll try. For some reason, my share screen isn't clicking on for me at the moment. Just get up maybe the TG Logan one.
Share screen.
Is that working? Yeah, brill.
Canva basically flattens the speed bumps. It helps me communicate.
Dwi 'di bod ar ben fy hun rhy hir. Beth am I ti ddangos caru'n wir, mor pur.
Mae'r awydd yma'n gryf. Does dim rhaid ti'n neud rhyw lawer iawn, ond y gyffwrdd yn deffro'n llaw. Mae'n wir.
Rhaid ti'n bod sy'n city for its coffee. Gond yn erbyn le mae hyn. Ni edrych rhaid o rhywbeth. house. Them name on, they got the sauce. The end brand new, the look to live out. They do, man, no small in thee. Man, we will see the down and naughty. Hey, 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 hey.
So oedd hwnna just
So that was just an example
one example of the
of the projects that we did. So that was jointly produced with a youth organisation in Ireland, and it worked amazingly well. It had on YouTube 40,000, but on Facebook it got over 150,000 views, which is really, really good. And I think, a few things we learned from that was that young people had missed out on different projections in arts, so we could bring them together. And although they all did it separately, so Iestyn, for example, filmed everything around Cardiff, but he felt that he was part of the production. He had a selfie stick, also he had some recording equipment, so everything worked so effectively. So we're going to keep that idea going, and we're going to do another project in February where young people are going to have a chance to go over to Ireland. Also with the industry sessions, we're going to do more of those as well, because they sold out within a week. So it was something that worked so well for us. I think what we found was that what we learned for the online sessions, you really, really need a focus, something to discuss, because we tried with the Sgwrs, the conversation, just to have an open conversation about whatever was on their minds. But they didn't want to put their mics off a screen just to talk about nothing, So we felt that with a music club, if you had the music there as central to it, the conversation happened around it then. And we felt that as the weeks went on, more and more young people would put their cameras on, a mic on all the time, just to talk, because they felt that they knew us. Also, we've kept some of the sessions, so we've kept the music club going, because I think these are young people who maybe don't have a group of friends. They like coming to something like as an individual, because you can imagine it's quite daunting going into a youth club in a hall. You're dropped off by your mum and you've got no friend to go up to. So with this, at least they're safe. Everybody's on the same level. You don't have cliques at all on Zoom. Everybody is on the same level. And we also felt that was a help with Welsh language, because if we run a youth club, you usually if we hold it in Welsh, you'll have usually a small group of friends that turn to English together, but on screen everybody has to, nobody's got that partner to encourage them to turn to English, so everybody remains speaking Welsh. It's also very cost effective and effective in terms of time, but obviously you need that face-to-face as well, so it's lovely now that we're able to do both. Excellent. I think that's it from us. Sorry, we went over a bit.
Problem at all, Diane. Thank you so much for that, guys, and thank you for ploughing through in spite of the technical difficulties. And translation worked, as Margeji was saying about the benefits of encouraging the use of Welsh language and not feeling the need to mix between. So we came in right at the end there. So I am sure something can be done to get the transcript out to those of us that don't speak Welsh. But thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate your contributions. And I think that song is going to be rattling around people's heads for the rest of the day. So it certainly has landed. Brilliant. Well, thank you, everybody, for your contributions. Really, really appreciate that. And for those of you that haven't contributed yet, I hope you feel quite all the good work that's been going on, the innovative and creative stuff that we've seen happening. So the next thing to do now is we're going to drop into breakout rooms, as if enough can't go wrong already. Let's give it a try. Let's give it a go. So the way that this should work is similar to a conference, in that you'll head back to reception. The sessions down. You will see 8 breakout rooms. What I'm going to do, list of names as far as I can tell, and I'm going to assign you a breakout room. If you could head over there, and there are 3 questions in the chat. You don't have to stick to them rigidly, but some discussion around how you've responded to COVID, some of the innovative stuff that you've been doing, and some of the responses and the practices that you could keep. It would be really good to share those. And like I said, if I could then get a copy of any notes that are taken, I'll then make sure they're circulated to everyone in the workshop. Because following the conclusion of this workshop at 12:45, 12:50, we're then going to head straight into lunch. So you don't need to come back here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run through the list, assign people and names. So if the class could listen attentively, please, because whenever you do this, somebody always puts their hand up and goes, "What room was I in again?" But I've got the notes, so hopefully we should be okay. So once I've read out your name and I've identified which breakout room you're in, please feel free to head off. So before I get into this, just a massive thank you once again to everybody that shared and for putting those cameos together. It's been really interesting and really inspiring, and I really appreciate you doing that. So yes, so breakout room 1. So if I call out your name, you can head out to breakout room 1, and that's Bill, Hevin, Rachel, Tim, and Caroline. So if that's you, you can head to breakout room 1, and it's great to have you with us. Thank you very much. Breakout room 2, we're going to have Rob, Grant, Sinead, Eve, and if I pronounce this wrong, I do apologize. Is it Gergo or Jurgo? That's breakout room 2. Breakout room 3 is Louise, Candice, Chloe, Dale, and Tracy. That's breakout room 4 is Sean and Harrod, Lucy, Andrea, and Kay. Great to have you with us if you want to head out. Breakout room 5, we have Sarah Fox, and Sarah Griffiths, Zariah, Lizzie, and Melanie. If you want to head out to group breakout 5, that would be great. Thank you for being with us. Breakout room 6, then we have Catrin, Sean, Richard, Tia, and Sarah Miller. If you want to head off to breakout room 6, that'd be marvelous. Breakout room 7 will be then Pam, Dean, Ridian, Lily, and Claire. It's breakout room 7 if you want to head off. And then breakout room 8 is Annie, Alana, Andy, Margaret, and Lewis. If you want to head off to breakout room 8, that'd be great.